What happens to injured animals and birds that can't survive on their own? Several UCF students with a passion for animals are helping wounded critters find their way back to nature.
Thank you. Here at Back to Nature, our mission is to rescue, raise, rehabilitate, and release all injured and orphaned Florida native species. Our big goal is to educate and spread awareness, and we do that through the use of our non-releasable residents. We have about 45 residents ranging from a western cougar to a Florida native bald eagle to a Florida native gray squirrel.
I'm gonna get this guy too. Check on him. Come here. You all right? I've been interning here probably about 2 months now. This little guy that I'm holding is Angel. He's one of our squirrels that was born with a birth defect. Love you.
I really love working with the baby birds and with the sick and injured animals. I am actually applying right now for vet school, and I want to specialize in wildlife and zoological animals.
Tara has bumblefoot, which is a bacterial infection from perching too long in one place or perching on inadequate perches in captivity.
I'm just trying to pull this talon out.
We do the best we can with continually treating it, applying antibiotics and a homeopathic remedy that we have, as well as pads to keep the pressure off of the calluses that are on her feet.
Okay, you're okay, sweetie. You're all right.
I organized this summer specifically so I could accommodate the internship. You can see his beak is crossed, so he can't eat on his own.
So I'm interning at Back to Nature so that I can get some hands-on experience with the animals and then go over to SeaWorld and do educational work. Stains usually get everywhere, and that way he gets to have a clean area and it doesn't smell bad and it looks nice and fresh when people walk by. It's nice to be a little bit moist on a really hot day, and he absorbs the water in through his skin.
The internship program, it makes all the difference in us getting through the day and improving the place and being able to care for these animals properly. It started with just about 3 interns a semester, and it grew into what it is now, which is approximately 15 interns, of which 8 of them are UCF students. They need to be fed about 3 times a day.
Out here you get to see prime examples of human-animal interaction and animal ecology and rehabilitation, things I wouldn't otherwise get in the classroom.
Back to Nature is currently looking for fall semester interns and volunteers. You can learn more about the organization at btn-wildlife.org. Coming up on 1, meet Ryan Rust. He's a student at UCF with dreams of living his professional life in the fast lane. Then, if you've driven through downtown Oviedo, you may have seen or heard some of its most famous feathered residents. But how did they get there? We take a look at the history of the Oviedo chickens. This month on 1, we're introducing a new segment called One to Know. It's a look at some distinguished UCF alumni and students as they make their way into their professional careers. For Ryan Rust, he's looking forward to life in the fast lane.
Now, car number 18, he's a former pro challenge competitor. In the number 18 is going to be Ryan.
I started when I was 8 years old in go-karts at a little dirt track called St. Lucie Speedway.
When he first got started in go-karts, there was not a person or thing that he didn't hit. Since then, he's learned a lot. Gotcha, I just want to double check.
Window nut.
Gotcha.
It really mostly comes through seat time. That's where you can get told what to do, you can get shown what to do, but until you spend time actually in the car, that's when you learn everything through experience.
Definition of seat time is getting to know how the car feels by the seat of your pants. Your butt is in constant communication with your car.
My overall goal is to become a professional NASCAR driver, but I realize that that possibility is very slim, so that's why I have getting an education for my backup plan.
With Ryan becoming a mechanical engineer at UCF, it's perfect for him because he can work in the industry as a mechanical engineer, no problem. So if he wants to work in NASCAR, he'll be very, very valuable to almost any race team.
You could be the best driver in the world and you won't be in NASCAR. The number one thing you need to be in NASCAR is sponsorship. And right now that's very hard to find. It's a lot of work to go out getting sponsors. You're constantly networking with people, getting to know other people, and branding yourself as a driver.
But it so happens that Ryan's successful charity might just be rocket fuel for his brand.
The Adopt a Hero program is a program where people from all around the world can sign up to adopt someone from our U.S. military overseas. People who sign up have sent out close to 120,000 care packages.
So when Ryan actually put together this Adopt a Hero program, he wasn't thinking of himself, he was thinking of others. We would be lying if we said we don't get some sort of benefit out of it as well, because the hundreds of thousands of people who work with the program know who Ryan is, and ultimately sponsors like that too.
You can follow Ryan's progress by logging onto his website. Just go to ryanrust.com to check out his fan page, schedule, statistics, and results for this UCF hometown hero. Finally today, an Oviedo resident and grad student is capturing local history by creating podcasts. It's not about famous people or historical buildings, but about some of Oviedo's quirky and colorful residents that all the locals seem to love.
We're a suburb, and you have a couple dozen chickens wandering around here in the middle of town. They walk across the roads, they block traffic, but the weird thing about it is the majority of people in this town really love the chickens. A bunch of us grad students took a class to create content for the Riches program. It's something that the history department just started. Riches UCF is the regional initiative for the collecting of histories, experiences, and stories of Central Florida. We each got to pick areas of Central Florida. I actually live here in Oviedo. We would do 3 podcasts about little interesting bits of history that people might not know about, and bring that in a new form of media to people that like history. Oviedo really has its roots in agriculture. You have people who have lived here their entire lives that when they grew up here, it wasn't uncommon to see a cow or a chicken or a pig wandering on the road. And then you have more people that have moved here and they live in gated communities and subdivisions that they commute to work everywhere. And for them, seeing a chicken is a big deal. So you get some tension there between the two of them. Sometime in the early 90s, a chicken kind of showed up downtown. A couple weeks later, there was a hen. And then, like I say in the podcast, the next spring, inevitably, there were baby chickens. From there, the population has just grown and gotten larger and larger. And now, I mean, nobody really touches them. They leave them be. It's a self-sustaining population of chickens. They like to hang out in several different spots around town. And ironically, they like to hang out near the chicken restaurant across the street. A lot of these business owners think that it's really interesting, it's unique to have chickens, and they've really adopted them as a sort of a mascot. Well, this podcast in particular will be out March 2012. You can find them at the Riches website. They're also available on iTunes U under the UCF link. I have a bunch of anecdotes about chickens crossing the road, so you got to listen to the podcast to find out. If one person listens to a podcast and gets interested in the history of their town because they found out why the chickens are in Oviedo, it's great to have somebody else interested in history.
Once again, here's that link for the Riches website at UCF. In addition to the podcasts, you can follow the Riches blog, check out a photographic history of surfing in Florida, and even donate your old home movies to help preserve history captured by ordinary people. That's all for now. Thanks for joining us for this edition of One. We'll see you next time.